Well, thank you so much for being here with me once again on another episode of A Legacy of Love, Un Legado de Amor, which, of course, I have my book here and I've had to write it in English and Spanish. Could probably see it there, my cookbook, my workbook, already 6 books out and about. But most of all, recognizing that we're all well in Christ. With that said, today I have a very special person, friend, a longtime friend. And today I feel very honored and privileged to have her here with me today. Her name is Lori Collins. Hello, Lori. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. I would love to know a little bit about you, which I know everyone will want to know as well.
Okay. Lori Collins. I just there's a lot. I feel like I'm a cat and I lived 9 lives. But I taught school for 23 years. And then I was pretty much single for most of my life. I was 40, I met my husband. And now I actually own a weight loss in his office. So in Vista Medical Weight Loss. And then I also do kind of like office management consulting business on the side.
Wow. So you do a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Wow, that is great. Well, I sure didn't know that you just got married. I actually thought that he was probably your high school sweetheart or you knew him for a very long time. Actually learning.
Yeah. No, I like surprisingly, it took me 40 years to figure it out. So,
No, and
yeah, it
that's
was a rough,
perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
but it just matters where we end up, right?
Yes, that's what matters. I agree. I'm always about having something positive, a great outcome to share. And I think that we all come from different stages in our lives. We all go through different experiences. My podcast, it's obviously the name of my book, A Legacy of Love, which Un Legado de Amor. Why? Because I now carry my mother's legacy. Was it easy for me to share my story? No, but I know that it will empower a lot of women, women that have gone through loss at a very young age, like I had to go through losing my mother. She passes away out of the country due to placenta previa back in '88. I was just a little girl. I was about to be 15, and before then, everything was normal. But after her loss, everything became a mess. And between losing my mother, going into a forced marriage that I didn't ask for, Lori. It was not easy for me to share, but knowing that my life has changed and that now I could go back and empower women, which my mother also was in a forced relationship, believe it or not, and being in so many other things, being between life and death, losing my first unborn child. I sure went through a lot, but knowing that now my story will empower women, and I know that you also have a story of your own. And first of all, as much as you would like to share, what have you gone through, or what would you like to share that you were able to overcome?
Well, first off, just it's very inspiring to hear your story. I mean, like you said, losing your mother at that young age, but being forced into a marriage when you're 18 years old. I mean, you have your whole life ahead of you when you're 18, and to have, um, it taken away from you that you can't go and find love, and find the love of your life. That would just be so incredibly traumatic. So, kudos to you. Definitely related to the book in the aspect of, unfortunately, the domestic violence. I too went through domestic violence. Um, Not really. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago. I think I was about 35.
Wow.
Um, when I went through that. So, uh, and what they don't tell you too is, people are just like, oh, well, you just get out of, where you're at. But you have to understand what it takes to get there. You have to be, slowly beat down before then by, other people in your lives. And it takes a lot in order to um, be able to walk away. And
Yeah.
that's what people really don't understand. And but domestic violence victims, people that have actually lived that, they understand that. They understand what it takes to walk away. And I think it took God, it took my friends. My friends were a vital, vital part in me being able to walk away because they I had friends that would stay over at my house day and night. And in your situation, I mean, you were kind of secluded from all of that. You really didn't have your friends, did you?
You
To,
know, I'm glad that you're wanting to know more about my story, which I don't know if you've read my book. I'm very happy, and I will surprise you with mailing you a copy if I haven't, because I've mailed so many copies. And no, actually, my grandfather was very manipulative, and my grandmother, there was a lot of times that I would go to school, to high school, the same school that you went to, um, trying to hide my arms, trying to hide, how bad it was at home because my grandfather was very physical. And I didn't have a voice. I always wanted to have a voice. And I definitely understand people that have gone through domestic violence because it's a pattern. And I agree with you. It takes a lot for you to step up. If it's your personality or if it's, you're trying to understand what's really going on. And that takes time. And as I was going through all that, I recognized that I needed to find myself. I needed to find healing and going to a professional and recognizing, crying my eyes out because I didn't have closure with my mother's death. And everything before was very normal. Being with them too, it was very difficult. I remember back in the day having friends of mine going and trying to get their clothes fitted because I was in the drill team. And I had several friends from different cultures. I've always been very open of having friends. I believe there shouldn't be any barriers. We're all one, and we should all have friends regardless of their background, their ethnicity. I wasn't allowed to, and I was always isolated, as you said, yes. So I wouldn't go and share. Eventually, years had to go by, as you mentioned also, that it was back when you were 35. Many, many years had to go by in order for me to recognize through the family, through my own uncles and my aunt, my mom's sister, how bad it was. And they married me off against my will. You're right. They took away because I did have someone in my past, and it was very painful. It was horrible. It was very hurtful. Most of all, I was very confused, Lori. All those years, I fell in a lot of confusion. And why having to be shipped to Mexico instead of staying where I was living in Bakersfield? Well, because there was money involved. My mother had a property, and I don't want to share much because I want you to read my book, which you will be having very soon. It has won already 4 awards internationally, even in Spanish, my book, which I had never written a book, but I was called to do this book, and from a higher power, I'm a believer. I don't think I would be alive, honestly, if it wouldn't have been because of my mother teaching me that there is a God and that He is more than happy to help us. And that's what I decided to do, to hold on to God because I wouldn't be here. But most definitely, I think that we all have a story to share. And I know that you understand me very well. I didn't know that you went through domestic violence. I definitely understand it because after that, I also had other relationships that came into my life, just like this forced relationship where I was being neglected, where I was being mistreated, where I was being forced to have a child, which I had a very hard time becoming pregnant, and so many other things. But first, I had to find myself. I had to recognize that I needed to face these problems, that I needed to face what needed to be healed. And when that was healed, then I would be able to be my best version. And I had to come to a place of forgiving myself for not I had a voice, but because of the abuse at home with my grandparents, I wasn't able to talk. I had a very close friend that maybe you know her, Selene, that now she married someone that is very well known in the Hispanic community, that she knew what was going on in the house. She always tried to take me out of that environment. I wouldn't spend much time there. I would stay working, going to school, just coming home to sleep. So when you talk about domestic violence, it really resonates. It really, it's very familiar for me, and I do understand. And I honestly, admire you. I respect you for standing up, for sharing your story today with me, because it really takes a lot. From where you were at before, because that's where I was once, to be where you're at right now and be more than willing to share your story. And how were you able to come out of that story? That's what I would like to know, because I'm like stunned to know that this is a very common thing.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, like it took it escalating to the point of, being taken away in an ambulance and having broken bones in order for me to really realize the situation and to get away from the situation. Um, However, like once it reached that point, I decided to be very vocal about it, and I posted the entire thing on social media. And I just figured if I'm going to go through this, then I'm going to need some help. Just like, an alcoholic might post, "Hey, I'm clean and sober one day." And, by all means, every single person that sees that post should be like, "Congratulations, you got this," whatever you have to do, because it is so, so important to have that support. I also went to a lot of counseling. I got counseling. I got neurofeedback, which a lot of people don't understand. When you have been the victim of domestic violence, a lot of the times you have PTSD. And so neurofeedback was absolutely a game changer for me. It helps stop those looping thoughts. I don't know if you're familiar with the technology or not, or how it is used, but it helps a lot of people, veterans. Um,
Yes, no, I know, and I'm aware, and yes, I do believe in PTSD, and most definitely after going what after what I went through, most definitely I had to find what was going to be the right fit, and I agree with you. You have to find what will work for you, and for you, it was doing that. I actually have two biological kids, which I always say I have four biological kids. And I had to go through certain things with them of taking them because of their biological mother. So I am very aware of that service and I know how that goes. But in my case, what I needed, definitely, I needed closure. I needed therapy. I needed a professional. But beyond that, I needed to come to a place where I could openly speak about all my pain, like you did, openly with people and talk to the Lord. I think that that definitely was what I needed and what helped me to have a breakthrough and to recognize it is okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay in those circumstances. That's what, and it doesn't matter what people think or what people might say, because my book actually talks, shh, it's a legacy of love. And then the second title is shh, finding the courage to finally speak out. And why the shh? Because in my culture, we are brought up to the point where everything that happens at home stays at home. And I think it happens in every other culture as well, that they keep you silent and they just don't want you to speak up and share. And you want to pretend in front of people that things are differently. But honestly, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to be well with yourself. And it's not about what people say or think or want. It's about what's best for you. It's about what is going to help you with your healing process. And I have broken that, my generational curse, generational mess of silence. And I've called it out of trying to pretend with people that everything is wonderful, but it isn't. Because that's not the way that I think that we're supposed to live. We're not here to please people or try to pretend or hide the truth. We're just here to be real and to be honest with ourselves and to be bold about things. And I've always been that way, but I had to stay quiet, even though everything was going around, everything that was happening. I knew what was happening, but I had to come to a place where I knew that I had to do something about it, just like you. You had to come to a place of change. Now, how were you able to overcome this? How were you able to When I'm saying overcome, it means how are you able to get out of this situation finally? Because there's a lot of ladies that are going to listen to this episode, and I would want them to also hear it from you. They hear me most of the time.
Well, like I said, get support from anyone that you possibly can. Like I said, I had friends that slept on my couch to make sure that I didn't let him back in. I mean, they did everything they possibly could to support me, and I'm forever grateful for that. And I understand not everybody has that, but I mean, there's also a lot of different places that you can go for help and a lot of support that you can get. Counseling was very important. I went to church every time the door was were open, and I ended up getting baptized. And I found that to be very significant in um, the change that I made within myself and to move on.
Yeah.
So think that like when you put all of those things together, I don't feel like I'm a victim. I feel like I've completely and 100% healed from it. And that's what, people need to understand is that you can completely heal from it. I mean, through God's power, we can heal through it.
I love what you said, not to be a victim, because I think that it's, in other words, the same thing that I see. It's like, you know what? I don't want people to feel pity for me, because I'm not there. And because now that I'm able to share this, I could say that I was able to survive this. And now I'm able to help other women that are still there. And we're not victims. We're actually survivors. We're warriors. We're women that are willing to recognize and say, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just going to get up from this and I will be fine. What would you say to women that are listening right now? And they're still having a hard time. Oh, what should I do? Should I leave? Oh, but I shouldn't leave, but I should still stay. But maybe because of my kids. Oh, but I think he's going to change. I think I could make him change. You hear all these things from other women, and maybe, we actually heard it ourselves. What would you tell them?
Well, even throughout my whole dating life, I mean, my picker was broken in a lot of ways. And I have a lot of great exes, but at the same time, like if you are in a relationship and you are not happy, it is bad for you. It is bad for your children. Number one, you're teaching your children how to be treated. And you don't want to do that because you're damaging your children. And like you said, we have to break those generational curses. And if you're going to do it for, at least do it for your children. If you have children in that situation, like I said, it's so important though that you have to completely 100% get away. And you're never going to know what that future holds for you. I mean, if I would have known that my Prince Charming was there waiting for me all along, I mean, I would have left. I would have been single all 40 years. I mean, I just, you don't know what God has in store for you, and but he can't put the right person in your life if the wrong person's there.
Yes. I agree. So you have to first finish what you have to finish, like it or not, and face it, and come to a place where you come and you have reasoning and you find healing and you find yourself. And you have to be first your best version. And when you are, then everything's going to fall into place like a puzzle. And then eventually your life changes. Now, what would be your last message for these ladies, which I will share a last message myself?
Just that there is a lot of help out there. And it doesn't matter if you have money, if you don't have money, it doesn't matter. There's lots of help. And just if you use your voice, you can get a ton of help. Just look at, I don't know if you know, locally, there was a man who it was caught on camera outside of Airbnb, and it was a lady who she was getting kicked by her husband outside. Basically, he kicked her, he spit on her. You could hear the child crying in the background. And I know that not only did our whole town see that because the lady that owns the Airbnb posted it, but all of the whole community got together and they started rallying around this woman. And now she's gone to a different state to be with her mother. They helped get her there financially. People want to help. And if you give them the opportunity, they will really surprise you. And it doesn't matter what you think your worth is. People value other people. And you can't really underestimate that.
I think that you're right. And I think that when you don't know your identity, and I think that in my personal journey, I did know my identity, but I felt that throughout the years, I had lost my identity because of this broken world. But as soon as I got myself, on the loop, on track, I recognized, you know what, my identity is not what and what I was going through, my past, all the circumstances, my identity is in Christ. And you have to have an identity on someone. And why not giving him an opportunity? I'm not here to preach or to force people, no, but I think that it's important to believe in a higher power. And with that said, I do want to share a little bit of my book in English, and I think it goes very well with this part right here, and it's page 185. Let's go there. Let me go there because it's very powerful, and I think that it will resonate with a lot. Of people that are still stuck, not knowing or not understanding. We must encourage every soul traveling this path we call life, because as we often see, it can be a brutal journey. I believe that no one greater exists. There is no one more powerful and none more able and willing to help us than God. I have found him to be faithful and true. He is present in the midst, in the middle of life's deepest storms, and always near the brokenhearted. He is the only one who can mend a broken heart. He will mend your broken heart too. So I would really love for you and the audience mainly to know that it is well in Christ. And I think that if he was willing to help me in the midst of so many things, um, I know that he is a faithful God. And it's about time that we come to a place where we recognize that we cannot resolve it all. It's not up to us. There's a lot of things that are out of our hands. And I think that surrendering, like I had to do, at a in the midst of all the mess that I was going through, it was really well worth it. And I believe that he is more than willing to help each and one of you that are listening today. But he wants us to reach out to him. He wants us to be willing and to be humble and to call out the problems that we're facing and to cry out to him. And he is more than happy to help us. And with that said, I really thank you for being here with me today, Lori. And I think that we have so many things in common that I didn't even know. And it really brings a lot of happiness in a way, not, yeah, I know you understand what I mean. To know that I was not the only one that was facing adversity, to know that there's a lot of us that are facing adversity daily. But if we're willing to open our hearts and share, then of course we will find healing and transformation, and we will be able to connect with other people that are also survivors. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.